Once upon a time, there was a bejewelled newt who sang in a midsummer pond. Beautiful. Strange. A music master used to spend his holidays in a rustic cabin nearby, and of a mosquito-buzzing, star-filled night, he would go down to the pond to listen to her. The voice was indeed most unusual, not creaky like the croak of the frogs, but soft, low, and a little mournful. By night the newt would sing, but by day she led an ordinary life. She was married to a woodcutter, and she worked as a librarian. The frogs came into the library wanting modern self-improvement books, but all she could give them were the old tales about turning into princes. "Read it, read it, read it," croaked the cynical frogs. They knew that the bejewelled newt sang at night, but they advised her not to give up the day job. All summer, the music master listened to her, enraptured. Her haunting alto seemed to be disembodied. She was hidden in the dark water. When the time came for him to return to the city, he decided to speak his heart. "Oh, Newt," he said, "that is a very rare voice you have. Come back with me to the conservatory, and I will train you up to be a famous diva." It was a flattering offer, and she accepted it without a second thought. She packed her old brown case, tied a new ribbon to her tail, and set off with the master to the big city. Who can say what her motivations were? Perhaps she was genuinely interested to study the possibilities of her voice. Perhaps she was lured by the prospect of fame and gems more glittering than the shimmering obsidian of her own skin. Who can say what his motives were? Perhaps he honestly envisaged her upon a stage with the songbirds of the air. Perhaps he thought he could make a profit out of her. The poor woodcutter was distressed. He thought the music master would distort the true voice of his subtly bejewelled wife, but he did not stand in the way of her advancement. When the newt first arrived in the metropolis, the music master treated her gently, dressed her in velvet, and at their first public performance supported her on a cushion of his fabulous piano playing, so that she was almost an overnight success. The audience showered her with hothouse flowers in December. Then, to improve matters, the music master began to drum his techniques into her. "You're going to be singing in big halls now," he said. "The audience simply won't be able to hear you if you go on in your underwater way." He drummed and beat and bullied and coaxed, and she did her best to follow his expert instructions, but her sound just went from bad to worse. "Your best is not good enough," he said. His conservatory colleagues looked on aghast that he was wasting his time with such a hopeless creature. The newt tried even harder, but her sound just went from worst to worst. Then one day, when the newt and the musician understood they were not getting any younger, and it was too late for celebrity, they decided to hold a Christmas concert for the pure joy of music making. They would invite all the birds of the air, from the amateurs to the stars. The newt would get back into vocal form, and all would bring their gifts, rich or modest, to the Christ child at Bethlehem. The music master invited an African nightingale, and she agreed readily, until she heard that the famous Nightingale of Berkeley Square had also been offered the chance to sing. And then the African nightingale suddenly fell ill with an unfortunate green sickness and dropped out of the enterprise. Plenty of others were keen to leap on the bandwagon, though. There was a parrot from Singapore, an American reed warbler, a charming little hornbill, and a couple of common song thrushes, not quite up to the standard of the nightingales perhaps, but alluring in their own way. And there was the newt, perplexingly bejewelled, who still sang in a hushed and calming voice. Beautiful. Strange. Newt and Master began their rehearsals. La 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 la. Louder, cried the music master. La 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 la. Off key, he shrieked, stamping his feet.
Perhaps you should try my method,
commented a crow flying past. When it came to the dress rehearsal, the newt was nearly paralysed with self-consciousness. The birds of the air all trilled their parts, the music master flirted with them shamelessly, and the newt quietly waited her turn. She sang last and badly as usual. The music master poked her in the stomach. Afterwards, the newt was surprised to overhear one of the common song thrushes admit she was afraid of the amphibian.
That newt is so clever,
said the thrush,
and she holds herself like a queen.
Oh, if only the thrush knew how much the newt feared her. Look, this is to be a Christmas concert for the pure joy of music making, said the music master. It doesn't matter whether you're a star or an amateur, we're all bringing our gifts to the Christ child at Bethlehem. The newt felt reassured after that. She trusted that her underwater voice and subtly glinting jewels would be acceptable at the manger. Her confidence rose when her country cousin sewed for her a gorgeous new stage dress in dignified black, shot through with starlight. Her old husband, the woodcutter, who had remarried, heard about the Christmas concert and gave his former wife a huge diamond to wear at her throat. No hard feelings and good luck, he said. The night of the concert arrived. The hall was packed. The newt was extremely nervous. She felt as if she were going to her own execution. She sang the Christmas carol. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would give a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. But what can I give him? Only my heart. Well, thank you, Newt, announced the music master. As you have all just heard, she's only an amateur from a provincial pond, but she did her best. After the concert, the master congratulated all the other participants, but to his newt he said, "Well, you let yourself down." Into her open heart he dropped this globule of poison. "How dare you judge me? You would apologise for me at the throne of God." And she broke down in floods of tears. "You're not a singer, and you never were," he said quietly. "In that case, you're not a master, and you never were," she yelled. The next day he apologised. "Sorry, I'm a dumb brick. You know words are not my strong point." She forgave him, of course. They had both tried their hardest, too hard perhaps, for the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It was not up to them to judge themselves. All that was required was that they should be themselves. The newt went and ran a hot bath for herself with calming waterweed aroma. And as the steam rose, her true voice returned, lovelier than ever. She began to sing a variation on one of her old pond songs. Strangely beautiful, most beautiful. Strange